Welcome to Week 13, Wide Right College CFB. I'm your host, Coach Gass. Today we got a great show. We're going to be talking about all kinds of things. We're going to be covering potential championship playoff or conference, playoff appearances. We're talking about college football playoff appearances and Heisman Hopefuls and so much more. But joining us now, he is our guy from the left coast. He's a lifetime fan of the Trojans. That's USC football. Please welcome Jude Santa Cruz. What's going on, Jude?
Oh, not much, man. Fight on.
Exactly.
Everybody who was watching on Saturday knows USC won that game, a crosstown rivalry. Showdown for the Victory Cup, and we got it. I'm a happy man.
We have another panelist joining us right now.
Cool.
They call him the Beast from the East. He's the assistant to the president of the Doug Flutie fan club, and his picks are so good, we may just rename him Lindsay the Greek. Please welcome to the stream, Lindsay Coyle.
How you guys doing tonight?
Good. How are you doing? Your toy truck looks eerily similar to your house.
I did a little fixing up in the back of the truck. And
so what you're saying is you moved into the truck now.
I'm now living in the truck full time. It's great.
That makes sense.
Yeah. No, I decided that time would be better spent tonight getting ready for tomorrow because a lot of my customers aren't working tonight anyway. So
you're getting ready to celebrate Jude's birthday tomorrow as well.
Yes, I am. We will have happy birthday deep fried turkey for Jude.
Oh, thank you. Enjoy that turkey.
For the teens of fans out there watching, tomorrow's a very special day, and it's not Thanksgiving. Tomorrow is Jude's birthday, and Jude's going to turn 24 tomorrow. So everybody, happy 24th birthday to Jude.
Happy 24th birthday.
Yeah. Double that plus one.
Come on, man. You're hurt. You're killing me here, Smalls.
We're trying to build you up.
It's a good day. So you guys having a good week? Everything going well?
Yeah, man. I finagled myself out of working on Friday.
Oh, there you go.
I told my boss that I would trade him. I'll work the day after New Year's, which is a Monday, and give me Friday off, paid. And he said, that's fine. Go ahead and do it. So,
all right.
I'll work a Monday through Friday on the first week of the year. I don't care. New Year's is Sunday anyways. I mean, New Year's Day is Sunday, which means New Year's Eve is Saturday. So it's not like I got to get up on Sunday.
Good plan.
Hunter's going to be joining us here in just a little bit. He's just got to get to a stopping point at work. And then we got kind of a big announcement coming up. But I'm not going to say it right now. I'm not going to spill the beans. We're just going to roll through with what we got right now. Lindsay was over here doing equipment adjustments. So let's start off the day. Let's just, let's just freestyle here. Last night we had some games going on. We had some action. And I actually sat down. I got to watch some action. Believe it or not. And I got to watch Bowling Green get destroyed by Ohio. And Ohio played themselves into a appearance in the MAC championship game. So congratulations to Ohio. I believe they're taking on Toledo. And we'll probably watch the MAC championship. Just to give some news updates right now, what's going to happen is next week we're going to have a pre-recorded show on Wednesday. And it'll just be a small show covering the conference championships. We're not going to go live next Wednesday. And next Saturday, that would be, I don't know, hold on a second. I mean, could be wrong with my dates here. Let me see real fast. I have a feeling I'm off by a week. This is the joys of doing this thing. All right. So next Saturday is the 3rd. The following Saturday, the 10th, we are going to have our Wide Right CFB 500-ish subscriber giveaway. And what you're going to win is you're going to win 2 of these cool shirts here. Your choice, your size. Guy, girl, guy, whatever. However you want to work it. Your size, your choice. You're also going to win a football signed by all of the Wide Right CFB crew. Jude's already got that ball in motion. He's made a forward pass to the northern portion of the state. And then
that's right.
They're going to make another lateral pass back to the western portion of the state. It's going to be signed by all of the Wide Right CP crew. And you're going to win not one $50 gift card to Buffalo Wild Wings, but two $50 gift cards to Buffalo Wild Wings. We're going to have this giveaway the night after the Heisman's read. We'll come on, and we're going to have special guests. And I think I'm going to let the special guest pick the winner. So the special guest, I can't let y'all know who it is yet. The special guest walks around with, I can't tell you what he walks around with. Special guest is going to pick the winner. I'm just saying it's going to be big. Everybody knows who the special guest is. I will say it's not Donald Trump. We weren't able to get him. We had to go with the next best guy though. Next best guy.
Mike Pence? That's just a wild guess.
Better than Mike Pence.
Whoa.
Better. Way better.
Man, some heavy hitters then.
Huge. Anyways, all right. So let's what are we doing tonight?
You want to talk some more news while we're on the news subject?
No, is it real news or just football news?
No, it's real news.
The Michigan tunnel fight fiasco. Oh, yeah. No, okay. That's football news. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to get into politics. I'm like,
no.
Okay. Let's cover some news of college football this week.
Yeah. 7 Michigan State football players have now been officially charged with crimes for their actions in the fight in the tunnel between the Michigan State and Michigan game a few weeks ago. And one of the players who was striking another player with his helmet has been brought on felony assault charges.
Oh, wow. Good.
Yeah. So we'll see how it plays out in court because that's where it's headed next. And I was a little disappointed in the stance that the Michigan State interim president was taking when she was quoted as saying, while we don't condone the actions taken by some football players, we will support our student athletes through this process. They're students first, and their academic journey continues. MSU.
Now when they get expelled.
Apparently, they're going to be supported by the university. We strongly believe in restorative justice practices and the education around harmful actions.
Guess they're going to be doing these classes via correspondence, huh?
So they weren't old enough to know better?
Yeah.
It's disappointing when you hear a statement like that against kids that take criminal assault that engage in criminal assault against other players, but that's the stance they're taking there at Michigan State. So we'll see how it plays out in court from here.
It's unfortunate. We'll say hi to Raging Cajun Garage. He's
Raging Cajun
dropped in to say hi. All right. So
Raging Cajun?
What else? What other news we got today? What have we got news wise? And we'll hop over into the games. Let's cover news. Let's see if we got anything big. I've done the zero prep today because you know what? I didn't feel like it.
It's all right. We're freestyling.
All right. So we got a lot of job openings coming up here. Like they should be there. And one of them involves a guy that one of our panelists is big fan of. And looks like Lane Kiffin is real hush-hush on the possibility of him moving to Auburn. And he actually had to meet with his players amid job speculation. So I know what my thoughts are on this. I know what Hunter's thoughts are on this, but let's hear what Jude and Lindsay have to think about Lane Kiffin possibly jumping ship from Ole Miss and going to Alabama to be that other school in Alabama. What do you think, Jude?
I think it's a bad idea. Some programs, I don't care who the coach is, they're not going to be fixed in the timely manner that it takes to keep your job. A coach like Lane Kiffin could go and lose 8 games a year for the next 4 years as he's developing players and gathering recruits. Then he gets blown out, and the next coach comes in and reaps the benefit of Lane Kiffin's first senior class, the second senior class. Auburn is not a place meant for any coach to succeed, and that's weird to say that. Give Cadillac a shot, man. Let him run the team. He's doing okay since he took over. He's an alum. He has some pull. He could say, "I played here." Let him do something like that, man. Let Kiff stay where he's at, or just wait till Nick retires and go take over the real school in Alabama.
All right, Lindsay, what you got here?
I agree with Jude that I don't think it would be a good move. I also don't like the way he's playing it in the press right now with the players, because he had a meeting with the players and he assured them that his focus was on Mississippi State and nothing else, and that any reports that he accepted another offer were totally false. If I have learned one thing in my life, however, it's that the sports-related rumor mill is really accurate and the grapevine is really very short. So, and everyone lays cover
What you're
stories.
saying is he's talking out of both sides of his mouth, right?
Sure seems like it, and that's really all. That's how all these things always play out. It's not as if nothing's going to happen. He's going to say, "See, I told you, all the rumors were false." No, that's absolutely not true. And I believe that he is in fact, probably a tendering offer right now. Maybe he's negotiating stuff with them. I don't know, of course, what the details are, but I suspect there's far more to it than meets the eye and what he's letting on. So if my hunch is correct, he's probably going to take the job. And I agree with Jude. I don't think it'll be the right thing to do. I think it'll be a mistake.
All right.
Do you think Auburn's the most prominent job available?
Prominent job available. I don't think the most prominent job available is open yet, but I think it's coming. Let's jump back over to the chat real quick and say hi to Anthony GM85.
Anthony,
happy Thanksgiving, Anthony.
Happy Thanksgiving,
buddy.
buddy.
Sorry, Jude, I didn't mean to talk over you. I was talking over you.
No, you're fine.
What's going on? What we got?
No, I was talking. It'll come to me. I'll talk over you when I remember.
All right, we can live with that. I can live with that. All right, another coaching. So we have the coaching carousel is pretty big. So you have Wisconsin, who's on an interim coach. You have, and it looks like Jim Leonard's probably going to be their choice for head coach. He's an alumni, he's a younger guy, kind of, he's one of putting his fingerprint on the program. I kind of think they're going to go with him there. You have Nebraska, which is wide open. Doug Schmitty 71. I hope he gets somebody. But, and then you have Auburn that's open. You have Georgia Tech that's open. I think there's a bigger program out there that's going to have an opening at the end of the season. I just think that it's gonna happen. All right, well, let's do this. Let's hop on over. We got to pick up our fourth member of this ragtag crew. Please welcome to the stream our expert on college football. He knows what the coaches know. Please welcome Hunter to the stream. What's going on, bud?
Not much. It's raining.
What's up, Hunter?
Hey, Hunter.
I did.
All right, bud. So we're talking about coaching hires right now. Who you think where's everybody going and all that good stuff? And I said I don't think the best job is open yet. I think there's a bigger job that's going to be open at the end of the season. So,
the best possible open job that could open up. Now, unless you're insinuating Oklahoma's firing Brent Venables, I don't think there's a better job than Auburn. Florida, I doubt, fires Billy Napier, even with a loss to Vanderbilt. Now, Lincoln Riley could leave USC. That would be hilarious.
That would be awesome.
And that might be what he's insinuating, is that Lincoln Riley would leave USC for an NFL job. We'd have to see, especially with like the Cardinals are going to be looking for a coach, but we don't need to get into NFL coaching talk yet. But that could be something. He'll be top of the list for a lot of teams, especially teams with franchise quarterbacks. So that I don't know if that's what you're insinuating. It might be.
I was kind of thinking there may be other jobs available, and stuff will sneak out. Something will happen. They'll make a change, or a coach will decide, hey, I've done as much as I'm going to do in this. I'm going to hang it up. And they're just holding it together to hold a recruiting class together until the end of the season. And then they're going to, work with the school to help name a successor, something along that lines. I have a feeling there's a bigger program out there. Maybe not a specific program, but a bigger program out there that's going to have a coaching hire, like possibly Texas A&M. If they decide to move on from Jimbo Fisher, like I said,
it's $90 million. The problem is that $90 million is so much money, and they had to pay a new coach $10 million. That's $100 million in 1 year.
I will take their $100 million offer. If they're offering me $10 million, I'll do it for 4.
Yeah. I mean, we'd have to see. I don't think.
But I'm just using them as an example because you're looking at a team right now that's really committed to their coach financially, but maybe not, mentally committed to their coach. And I have a feeling between now and national recruiting or national signing day 1, there could be some uneasiness in College Station. But I digress.
I would say like a possible big job would be LSU. If LSU wins the Natty, the long shot of long shots this year, if LSU wins the national championship, I think Brian Kelly retires. That could be.
Wow, no, man, I don't know about that. But we're talking about A&M. Were you saying that they're committed moolah, not committed rah-rah?
Yeah.
Well, it's more moolah at this point than rah-rah, but I mean,
I like Jude's version of it better.
Now, if Texas A&M comes out next year and goes 11-1, all is forgiven, right? It's the one thing in college football above all else is winning. Winning
you can't go 4-8 and lose to UMass and keep your job. You come out and go 2-6 next year. They'll hand you a pink slip. And
this is
a nice big check.
Next year is a big show me year for both big time Texas coaches.
Absolutely.
For Jimbo and Sark, those next year, if neither is playing in their conference championship, I fully expect them either one to be fired if they're not in their conference titles next year. So that would
Isn't
be
Texas in the SEC next year?
Maybe.
But even if they are, I think that's the thing. Unless they're the first one out, right? They're 11-1 and their one loss is to the conference player. That's it. But both teams have such loaded talent, such financial investments. The expectation is winning. Both teams are basically pro teams at this point, right? Where, hey, you have the talent, do something with it.
All right, so let's hop off of the news and let's hop on to something a little more fun. Let's hop on to salute to the Service Academies. Now, this week we only have one Service Academy game. And that's Air Force is playing San Diego. It's at 8 p.m.
Army's playing UMass.
Are they really? Did I miss this? Oh, great. Well, Army's not playing anybody. Come on, let's not lie to ourselves. We have 2 games. So Army's going to play the Minutemen. And if Army beats the Minutemen by more than 20-3, then Army is better than Texas A&M. Law of transitive properties. All right. I missed on one of them. I was kind of speed reading through the schedule today. So we got Air Force taking on San Diego State. This is at 8 p.m. on CBS Sports Network. That's Central Standard Time. Now, an interesting fact is Air Force is playing for their 10th win of the season. So this is kind of a big deal. 10 wins is real hard to get at Service Academy. So Air Force is looking to go 10-2, I believe, on the season. So we're going to be pulling for Air Force. Army's taking on UMass. And if Army doesn't win against UMass, then something didn't happen. Like the bus forgot to take them to the stadium. So Hunter, what do you got on this Army versus UMass game?
Sorry, my deal's cutting out, so I'll wait just a second for it to catch back up.
All right, hold on. Let me get Jude. Let's go with Jude first. Jude, what are your thoughts on Air Force taking on San Diego State and Army taking on UMass?
Air Force taking on San Diego State is going to be a track meet. That's going to be a fun game to watch. Could go either way. And Army taking on UMass. Army's, by the law of transitive property, will by no doubt be better than Texas A&M by the end of that game.
All right, Lizzie, what do you got?
Well, any team that comes into UMass to play them doesn't need an Army to win, but in this case, they're going to have one anyway. It should be a walk. This is one of these games where you wonder why they're going to play it. They should just do it all out on paper and be done with it. They're not risking anyone getting hurt. I don't know. It just seems like the disparity in a lot of games this week is that same story where there's going to be so. We'll talk about it later when we go over the games, but there's going to be so many lopsided games that, and this is certainly going to be one of them. I'd be shocked if it wasn't a total blowout.
All right, so when we get to Hunter, I want to we teased something a while back that Hunter had some big news coming up. Well, now's the time to spill the beans. We know what the big news is. I'm gonna let Hunter take over here. I'm gonna put him up on the big screen, and we're gonna sit back and listen to him for just a minute. All right, son, it's all yours. Let it roll. What do you got for us?
I guess I'll cover the games first. I feel like I need to at least do that for the service to the podcast. So I'm going to say Air Force wins. They're on the precipice of a 10-win season. They may be playing the Mountain West Championship. They're a very good team this year. They've won the right to say they're the best service academy team. For Army, UMass isn't a challenge. I would say this game's not going to be like a massive blowout. I would say it's probably going to be like a 27-7 type thing. Nothing crazy. Just probably just a typical Army win. They run the ball 87 times, 400 rushing yards, 8 touchdowns. 4 or 5 touchdowns. Pack it up, go home, get ready for Navy. That's one thing to watch out. Army's probably not going to try to pile on the points. They're probably going to try to get a good win, but not get anyone hurt. So I would say Army's going to get the lead they need. They're going to hold on to it. They're going to win the game, and they're going to get ready for Navy next week. And speaking of Navy, so I don't know who in the podcast knows, but for the last few years, I've been competing for a spot at OCS. And for OCS, that's Officer Candidate School in the United States Marine Corps. And just the other day, I got the phone call. I've been selected to go to OCS to earn a commission in the United States Marine Corps as an officer. So I will be going to OCS January 14th. OCS is a little bit like boot camp, but for officers. And I'm just excited to finally get to this point. This is something I've worked a real long time for, and something I've always wanted to do was to become an officer in the Marine Corps.
Oh, congratulations, man. That's awesome.
That's great news.
That is fantastic news.
Yeah. We kind of knew it was going to be this week. We'd find out yes or no, and we've gotten the no a couple times, and then he called me yesterday, and he was like, "Hey, guess what?" And I was like, "What? What you got? What?" I got selected. He's like, "We got selected." Real, like stoic, like no big deal. I got selected. Like, gosh, no big deal. I'm just gonna go train to be an officer. That's it. No big deal. I got selected.
That lack of excitement drives me crazy.
Yeah, the Marines dig me pretty much.
Yeah, I'm just gonna show up, do work.
Drives me crazy.
Hunter, what was that process like?
A little long. I don't want to, build myself up too much, but it took a lot of effort. It took a lot of mental fortitude, especially hearing no a couple times, and just not letting that doubt of like I can't do it get in. It took a lot of just like, I got to do more, and that's who I've always been. I never thought like I can't do it. It's all if I pick something I want to do, he can tell you. I mean, I'm gonna figure out a way to end up there. So it just took a lot of effort. It took a lot of work, a lot of running, a lot of pull-ups, a lot of want to. But that's what it's all about at the end of the day.
Yeah, I'm gonna brag on him a little bit more than he'll brag on himself. This was an incredible hard process. I mean, like this is like there are a lot of nights just helping him through just kind of mentally because it's tough. It's not an easy process. Number one, he had to finish college before he'd even be eligible for this. Then from there, he had to get his body into physical condition enough to do it. And he'd been close a couple times before and it not pan out, one via injury and then the other via COVID. So we knew like this was possible, but he is kind of, he's running into this point in his life where it's either going to happen or it's not.
Yeah.
So, we're real proud of him. We couldn't be, I don't know how to explain it. It's like him getting picked to go play college football for some parents. Like my son's getting picked to go join one of the most elite clubs on the planet. So, we're just super pumped about it, and just the level of work that he put forth to earn this was just proud of it. And we wanted to say it for the salute to the service academies because the Marine Corps is part of the service academies, and we're just super pumped for him. So
yeah.
But I wanted him to do that. It's good that your dad, turns the camera on.
Yeah, runs the show.
No, dude, that's awesome news, and I'm really happy for you, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I'm sure you already know this, but it always bears repeating. I think the personality traits and the ambition and the energy and the resourcefulness that you had to get you there is exactly what you're going to need to excel. Once you're up and running there, and that kind of thing is rewarded. It always is, and good for you for being that kind of person, having those kinds of traits. Daddy should be proud because you raised him right. And it's a good future for you, man. I'm happy for you.
Yep.
Yeah. You say like long, hard process, man. That's part of the reward because that makes it mean that much more when you found out. You couple no's, a yes means that much more. That is awesome.
Yep.
I never wanted it to be easy. I can't do easy. I always have to do. I had to pick the one that's the hardest to do.
I could live with easy. Easy was okay by me. I promise you, I got a few more gray hairs and a few less red ones, because of the whole process. So.
Plus, wanting it to be a little easier comes with age too. Once you've been there and done that, like, okay, I don't mind, coasting for a little bit here. It's still getting by, but
as a parent, you're just like, come on, man, make this happen. But it's just, I wanted it to be his goal, and whenever he first came to us, everybody was pretty receptive, but I was 100% receptive because I'm like, all right, well, if you're going to do it, let's do it 100%. I'm going to have his back no matter what he's going to do. And, he just took it and ran with it. So I didn't want to be like the driving force in there, like, hey, you got to do this, you got to do this. I'm just like, hey, I'm here for you, whatever you need to do, I got your back 100%. So that's just how we roll. But let's hop over to the comments.
Oh,
we got the 69xx.life here. They've got some pictures here for you, Hunter. They're saying congratulations too.
Well, word got out fast, didn't it? Everyone knows.
Yeah. Raging Cajun says congratulations, Hunter.
Thank you.
So we're good. Yep. No, we got the Triple X for Life thing came in there. They were like, dang, man, congratulations. You want to see some naked pictures?
Only with the 3 digits on the back of the credit card.
All right, let's get back on to college football. Enough of this shenanigans going on. Congratulations, son. I'm very proud of you, and everybody else in the chat and on the panel is super pumped for you, buddy.
Thank you.
And so he's only got 7 weeks left here at the house with us. And then he's moving on to greener pastures. So we're gonna enjoy every minute of it. He'll be on all the broadcasts coming up. Pretty sure. Maybe he finishes up work here in another couple weeks, and then he'll be done.
Yeah.
So, but till then, we got him. We got him for a while. Maybe next year we can get him every once in a while.
I'll try.
We'll see what happens. So, all right. We got football tomorrow. And speaking of Lane Kiffin, he's coaching in the game tomorrow.
Egg Bowl.
The Egg Bowl.
The Egg Bowl. Who names
the Egg Bowl? And don't they have like some great names? Like this weekend, there's all the rivalry games. You have like the Civil War. Last week you had Bedlam. All right. And I wish they'd play Bedlam this week.
This week?
Yeah, this week. It's a rivalry game. Texas and Texas A&M should be playing this week. I don't know. But we have the Egg Bowls tomorrow. We have Mississippi State traveling to Ole Miss. It's a 6 p.m. kick Central Time. So for Jude, it's like 4 in the afternoon. So right about he's coming out of his food coma from all those birthday celebrations. Birthday celebrations for Jude. He's going to get to watch this guy, Lane Kiffin, lay the wood to the Pirate one more time before he hops over to Auburn and does it regularly.
That's on my 3 games to watch. Is the Egg Bowl's one of my 3 games to watch this week outside of my game of the week. So
all right, Hunter. So give us your thoughts on the Egg Bowl here.
I think you're going to see a lot of it's basically going to be 2 different ideas, 2 different ways of overcoming the same idea, right? Both Mike Leach and Lane Kiffin like to run as many plays as possible. Leach loves to throw it. Kiffin loves to run it. I could be wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure Ole Miss is like the first or second most highest rushing numbers team by attempts in the SEC. I know 100% that Mississippi State leads the SEC in pass attempts. So it's going to basically be, throwing it and running it, and who can, who gets through it first. Of course, Kiffin has had, his teams have had a little bit of, question marks now with him, maybe not taking the Auburn job. But I think that the guys come together one last game for Coach Kiffin, get him a win before they send him off. And of course, some of those guys will be are basically auditioning for a spot with him at his new job if he is taking one, right? There's guys on the team that, man, is Coach Kiff going to want me to come to Auburn, for example, right? I don't know. I better put out so make sure he really wants me in Auburn. For Mississippi State's part, you never count the Pirate out. He's always going to, he's going to try to give you a game every time he can, because he loves nothing more than, upset games against teams that are overlooking him. So I would say I have Ole Miss winning this just by 3, but I think it's a high-scoring, high-flying, a lot of running, a lot of points kind of game. And I think it's going to be an exciting game. I'd say 45-42 Ole Miss.
All right. What do you got here, Lindsay?
I don't know. We're going to talk about this game right now. Hold on one second.
All right, we'll shuffle it over to Jude.
Yeah,
Jude likes to freestyle like myself here. Jude's gonna go with Kiff. I know this. Jude's gonna pick Kiff by 17. He's gonna say Ole Miss 63. Then we'll take 17 off that, whatever that score is. That's what. What do you got, Jude?
Ole Miss is gonna win this game. They're more talented than Mississippi State. I just the Pirate does like to throw the ball, and some of the teams have been able to throw the ball against Ole Miss pretty good. But I think as long as they ball control, run the ball, keep your offense on the field, you'll be all right. I'll take the Kiff to win his last game before his bowl game, before his first game of next year at Ole Miss, to win 50-40, win by 10. And real quick, I didn't get home from work till like 6:40 today. I filmed 2 videos on my phone today. I'm at 9%. So if I cut out, I apologize. I would like to real quick say something about the SC Notre Dame game if I can.
Yep, go for it.
In case in case my phone dies. Going to be, in my opinion, that's going to be a great game. Notre Dame coming to USC. I'm glad they've been on a win streak and getting stuff back together, and I'm glad they're ranked again. What I'm hoping to see, and you guys can help me figure this out. Right now, I think my best chance, or SC's best chances to get in, are for Michigan to lose to Ohio State and hope that USC jumps them, and then hopefully Georgia beats LSU. Because if LSU beats Georgia, there's 2 SEC teams in for sure. SEC teams in for sure. That's going to be rough. But if Michigan does beat Ohio State, I need USC to kill Notre Dame because the law of transitive properties. Ohio State beat Notre Dame, if I believe, early in the year, 21-7. So if we beat them by more than that, our 2-1 loss teams, SC and Ohio State, does that jump us over Ohio State because our common opponent we smoked?
Yeah. So SC needs to beat Notre Dame, but not necessarily kill them, but convincingly, even if Ohio State loses. But they need to kill their opponent in the conference championship. That's the big thing. They need to kill their conference championship opponent because Ohio State's not going to play a game, right? So you want that last thing that the committee sees is you beating the dog shit out of Oregon or Washington. That's what you need from USC more than, like beating. You need to beat Notre Dame, of course, but convincing is good enough. Ohio State needs to lose or Michigan needs to lose. Like whoever loses between Ohio State and Michigan, you need one of them, of course, to lose. Either one, I think it doesn't really matter. I think both could sneak in if USC fumbles the bag, basically. But if they beat Notre Dame convincingly and they beat the dog shit out of Oregon or whoever, that's important. That's what puts USC in the playoff.
How dare you?
Yeah, I agree with that. I just, oh man, I'm sweating bullets, man. It's a rough season. One stinking point to Utah. That's man. You know why? Because Utah, give me 2. Had to go for 2 and beat us, man. Oh, dude, that was a good game. And then the teams that we needed to win at the end of the year, man. UCLA losing to Arizona doesn't help. Utah, at least they played a tough game against Oregon. I'm not even sure if I want to play Oregon or if I want to play Washington not because I'm afraid of either team, but I just want the team that's higher ranked. And Oregon lost to Washington, so maybe the team that beat the team. Maybe I want to play Washington.
Well,
I don't know.
the committee has more respect for Oregon, obviously by the rankings alone. So I say killing Oregon is better than killing Washington.
Okay. Yeah. Man.
All right, Lindsay, what you got here?
Well, regarding the Mississippi State game, Mississippi State actually stands a chance here if they can take away Mississippi's running game and keep Jackson Dart in the air, because he has not been terribly effective over his past 5 games. He only has a 57% completion rate, and he's thrown 8 picks and 16 touchdowns. So if they're hamstrung on the running game, Mississippi State stands a chance here. Otherwise, I think it'll be Mississippi in this one by a fairly wide margin. I'd say 35-17.
Y'all are haters.
I'm going to go with Ole Miss on this one too. I think that Mississippi State's flaw in their team is their inability to stop the run, and that's why they've struggled down the stretch with teams that can run the ball, play ball control, keep the offense off the field, stuff like that. I don't know that Ole Miss is going to be able to control the clock. I think they're going to have a lot of explosive plays, but I think they're going to run the ball a ton. So, all right, Hunter, what's your other big game of the week you got picked here, bud?
Well, I got a few.
Well, let's go one at a time.
All right, NC State versus UNC. I like rivalry games. I'm always going to talk about watching rivalry games because guys get up, they play hard, they play with emotion and passion.
This is Friday at 2:30 Central Time on ABC. So if you're not doing anything after Turkey Day, you're sitting there sleeping off that food coma, you can tune this game on. Who you got in this game, bud?
I got UNC by 14. They took a loss to Georgia Tech, and they're locked in the ACC championship, but they got to prove something, right? Mac Brown lost his team close last year. He's looking to beat this team, to prove that this team is significantly better than one last year. And while Drake May's Heisman hopes are basically dead, you can always start a Heisman campaign for next year by performing well this year, right? This win here could be big for recruiting. We know how Mac Brown recruits down the stretch as Texas fans.
Coach
and we know how important. We know how Mac Brown always seems to put together good ends of the season, right? They seem to always win the end of the game, the season at the end of the game at the end of the season. They do well in conference championships, and they're going to need momentum because they play Clemson. So they're going to need momentum. And I think that they go and they beat NC State, call it 35-21. I know UNC's defense has been not great this year, but they've been better every week, right? They're getting better. They've gotten better. I think that they'll do what they need to do this week and take down NC State, and UNC will have a lot of momentum going up against Clemson next week in conference championship week.
Okay. What's the next game you got, bud?
Oregon and Oregon State, the Civil War. I don't know what they call it anymore, but they should go back to Civil War. It's a great name. And this is two teams that like to run the football. One does it in a kind of new age, spread option style like Oregon does. Oregon State lines up, their quarterback puts his hands under the center, he gets the football, he turns on, he hands it to a big-bodied running back who goes and runs some people over. And watching last week Oregon and Utah had a lot of success running the ball against Oregon. I didn't realize that Oregon's run defense could get beat down. And so it kind of hit me. I think Oregon State pulls off the win here, right? They gave USC's closest non-loss of the year, right? USC barely beat Oregon State. It felt like it took forever.
17-14.
It felt like it took USC forever to feel comfortable in that game. I think Oregon State goes and shows up and they ruin Oregon's season. If you can't play in the conference title, the next best thing to do is make sure your rival doesn't play in the conference title. So I think Oregon State wins it. I'm going to call it 24-27 Oregon State. The Beavs take it in Corvallis.
Hey guys, I'm at 3%. I know my phone's about to die. I'm sorry.
All right,
I never got a chance
it's all
to
good,
charge it.
Everybody, real quick, we're gonna wish Jude a happy birthday. We're not gonna sing him happy birthday because I can't sing. So, Jude, happy birthday. We'll talk to you on Saturday for sure.
All right, for sure. Hey, we'll be able to see the end of the Notre Dame game too. And
There you go.
You can share the screen again.
That'll be
I
fun.
know a guy. He's pretty good at sharing the screen.
Happy birthday, Jude.
Happy birthday,
All right,
buddy.
Jude.
Thank you, guys. Have a great night.
You too.
Happy Thanksgiving also.
Happy Thanksgiving
Happy
too.
Thanksgiving.
Bye, guys.
All right, Hunter, you got any other games? I know you got to go here pretty soon.
All right. So I'll just real quick. Iron Bowl, always a game to watch. I think I'm going to pick Auburn to win here. I think that they're motivated to play for Kadak Williams one last game, get him a big win, get to 6 wins, and beat Alabama. If there's any year to do it with a shitty team, I think this is the year. I got Auburn by 1. Louisville, I have blowing the doors off Kentucky by 14. That win last week by Louisville told me that they love Scott Satterfield, that they want to play for their coach, and that what better way to show your coach you love him by beating your rival in the rival's house. And for my big upset of the week, I have Vanderbilt taking down Tennessee 31-24.
Bold move.
I think Tennessee without Hendon Hooker is just not the same team. I've seen Joe Milton play. I'm not gonna rag the guy. He doesn't have the it factor that Hendon Hooker does. He doesn't operate the offense. The offense needs a good quarterback to operate it, especially the veer and shoot. I just don't know that Joe Milton's that guy. And also, there's reports of internal tensions between the players and the coaches, especially on defense. I think Vanderbilt, they beat Florida. They're really motivated to get this win. It's in Nashville. It's going to be kind of cold. I don't necessarily know that Tennessee. I don't think Tennessee wins this game. I think Vanderbilt's got the momentum. The Vegas got Tennessee minus 14. I'd say I would take Vanderbilt to win. I think Vanderbilt beats Tennessee. I really do. They seem motivated. They seem to play for their coach. They got a chance to make it to a bowl game, and I think they put it together. For the G5 game of the week, Cincinnati versus Tulane. This is for a spot in the AAC Championship game. Winner's in, loser is not. To play UCF, I do believe. And I think Tulane does a lot like what UCF does, and they just run the ball down Cincinnati's throat. Cincinnati's shown that if you can run the ball against them, you can win the game. Tulane runs the ball extremely well. I think Tulane comes in here and they just basically, I'd say it's going to be a 28-21. Tulane wins, 250 rush yards. Michael Pratt does enough to win the game. And then, of course, the game of the week, the game that I've been talking about for the last 6 weeks that's going to define so much of this college football year, the game, Michigan, Ohio State, at the shoe. It's cold. It's going to be kind of wet, maybe a little icy. This is a game between multiple Heisman guys, multiple first-round picks, multiple 5-stars. These two teams have been thinking about this game ever since Michigan beat Ohio State last year, right? Ohio State does not want to let Michigan start a streak against them. This game is important for both programs in so many ways, right? If Michigan can win this game again, it asserts that Harbaugh's finally put Michigan back over Ohio State. After 20 years of, Michigan being below Ohio State and Ohio State being the bigger program, this is a real opportunity for Harbaugh, and this is a real big test for Ryan Day, right? Ryan Day has been the coach that's been born on third base, right? He's good. He's got a great team, good recruiter, hasn't won anything. Hasn't actually won anything important. The Big Ten after Michigan's nothing for Ohio State. So, this game has beaten the over every year for the last 10 years. It's the spread. Both teams have covered the first year that one team covered, covered outright was last year with Michigan. And as a quasi Michigan fan, I'm going to go ahead and go with the Wolverines here to win by 7. I'm going to call it 35-28 Wolverines.
It's a lot of points. I don't know. That's a lot of points. But
That is a lot of points.
We'll see what happens. It's going to be 53 and sunny for the high in Columbus on Saturday.
Oh, there you go.
So,
Perfect weather to run the football.
All right, I got one last question for you, Hunter. If you can stay and hang out, great. If you can't, I understand. So,
I hope I
in
haven't ran
Jake
the
Spavital's
podcast too much.
last game as a Texas State Bobcat head coach, he's going to take on the Raging Cajuns from Louisiana. Can he pull off one last win at home?
Oh man, I knew this was coming. So, I hope so. Like I said, I don't hate Jake Spavital. I don't even dislike the guy. Like I said, I just think his time as Texas State coach has kind of come up. He's just a good guy. I've heard him talk to Kev Chardello. I know some people that play at Texas State. They like him. It's just it's a little hard to say. If this is the year for Texas State to finally beat the Louisiana Raging Cajuns, who we have not beaten since we joined FBS, like 2012, this is the year. This team is vulnerable. You have a chance. You're at home. You've only lost one game at home. You have the ability. Your defense has played up so much this year. It's almost impressive. As long as the offense and defense play to their best abilities, I think Texas State wins this game. I don't know if they do. It's so hard for me to. It's like Texas State and Texas are the same for me, right? It's like, yeah, they should win. I have no idea. I will say Texas State does have the opportunity for a bowl game if they win this game. If they win this game and App State beats who they're playing, I don't necessarily remember who App State's playing. If App State beats that team and UL Monroe beats whoever they're playing,
UL Monroe has to beat Southern Miss. App State plays. I just saw it. Where did it go? Not Akron. Come on, guys. Where's App State at? Well, I've totally wrecked the podcast here. Sorry about that.
All right. Well, if App State wins their game and UL Monroe wins their game, Texas State would have a tiebreaker for the win over App State inside the Sun Belt Conference and an opportunity, not a great one, but an opportunity to play in a bowl game, which probably would mean Jake Spavital will get an extension. So I don't know how I'd feel about that. But I will say,
so App State plays at Georgia Southern, and UL Monroe host Southern Miss.
Yeah.
So that's your choice. That's your chances there.
Yeah. So it's an outside slim chance. So we'll see. I don't necessarily think that the Bobcats make it to a bowl game. I hope they win this week. I always defend the house, right? No matter what. Can't lose at home. Got to win. I want them to beat the Raging Cajuns. I hate the Raging Cajuns. I don't really hate them, but I hate them this week. I want to beat them. I want Texas State to finally overcome another big-time opponent in the Sun Belt. And then, we'll see how the chips fall in the offseason for the Bobcats in terms of coaching, for Jake Spavital, and for the whole team. I say for a post-mortem on Texas State, I'll save that for Saturday. How about that?
All right. We'll get your thoughts on Texas State this Saturday. I'm going to turn the show over to Lindsay now. He's been shut out the whole podcast. We just
sorry,
kept
I kind of ran the show. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we just submarined it with Hunter, and poor
That's
Lindsay's
right.
over here just like, God, can you shut this kid up?
No, not at all.
Hard to.
All right, Lindsay. I know you got a big laundry list of stuff. I got it on my phone here.
But we also have more news.
Oh
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
This just in from John Sokoloff, who is the sports director at WCBI News out of Mississippi. He covers Mississippi State, Ole Miss, and high school sports. He is also a Heisman voter and is an Associated Press award-winning journalist. So he's got some street cred.
All right.
He sends out a tweet, and I quote, "Breaking. Ole Miss head coach Lane Kiffin plans to step down as the Rebels coach Friday and head to Auburn to become the Tigers' next head coach, according to sources. Sources say the Tigers haven't officially offered the job to anyone yet. according to these sources. Guess who saw this tweet? None other than Lane Kiffin. And his reply was, "That's news to me. Nice sources." So the rumors are fast and furious, and now people are kind of doubling down on them. We'll see how this all pans out. But very interesting to see what the sources are telling these journalists.
Like sand through the hourglass is the days
really
of our
is.
lives.
You can't
And
officially offer a job to somebody who's currently got a job.
According to
Sure you
sources.
can. According to sources.
According to sources.
According to sources, you can.
Unnamed
According to sources. This is annoying.
But regarding this week's games, as I was looking over the schedules and seeing what the matchups were, I have concluded that there's going to be very few close games. As we talked about before, the disparity this week is glaring, and there's only going to be a couple of interesting games, I think, to watch, because what I believe will happen is every team is going to beat their lower-ranked opponents. I don't plan on seeing any upsets. So I think we're going to have a lot of boring, lopsided games, but I think there are two exceptions to this. And I have two games that I think are going to be worth watching because these should be exciting.
Can we get your honorable mention game of the week first?
Honorable mention, USC and Notre Dame. I believe that Notre Dame is going to be playing aggressive, but a careful and pragmatic game on defense because they need a solution to Caleb Williams in that he is the best quarterback they will be seeing this year. And if they have the discipline to stay into defensive rushing lanes and attack Williams when the opportunities arise, if they're patient and they can do that, they can be effective. Ultimately, I don't believe they're going to be able to do it, though, because they're up against an opponent unlike any they've seen yet this season. So I do think they're going to lose. I see USC winning in a fairly close game, though, 42-35.
All right, well, let's hit us with the big enchilada here.
All right,
What
the big
you got?
enchilada, Michigan and Ohio State, to no surprise. Everyone's talking about this one. But Michigan has had enough trouble against quality opponents that Ohio is going to prove to be the better team as long as their running game stays good enough and they bring their A game with them. They've got two-star running backs that are injured, so it's going to be up to their running back, Dallin Hayden, to carry the ball. But there's a problem, and that is during practices this year, he has had a very difficult time hanging on to the ball, and he has been prone to fumbling. Even though he's been good come game time, he hasn't really earned the trust of Coach Ryan Day. So depending on what Day sees this week out of Hayden in practice will determine how much playing time he sees in the game. And if he plays and he plays well, then he'll get more carries in the game. And I think that's going to be their key. I see Ohio winning this one 28-24.
Yeah, Michigan's definitely one of those teams. If you have fumbleitis problems, you better not go and play that guy because I know this. They come to play, and they like to inflict bodily injury to teams. They are not afraid to go and stick their head in there and force turnovers. So that'll be a fun one to watch.
It will, because don't think Michigan doesn't realize all the things that I just said coming into it. So if they're going to be focusing on one thing, it's going to be that.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be their key.
One thing I forgot to mention is that this is the number 2 offense versus the number 2 defense. This is literally the unstoppable force versus the immovable object.
Yeah.
And we're going to find out.
This game literally could be like 6-3.
It could be.
This game it could be played in 2.5 hours or less with a score of 6-3.
It'll be a fun one for sure.
Michigan will win. Michigan
wants.
will win with 3 safeties. It'll be 6-3 below. They will have kicked a field goal nor gotten a touchdown. So, but we got a few minutes left here. We'll freestyle. You got a few more minutes, bud, or you got to go?
I got a few more minutes.
Okay. Let's just rifle through some Friday games. I know Hunter talked about Tulane, Cincinnati. He's leading Tulane. I'm leading Cincinnati at home. Lindsay, I don't know what Lindsay's leaning here.
On the Cincinnati game, I would look to Cincinnati to win this one.
All right. We got Baylor at Texas. Texas plays like they did against Kansas last week. I know Baylor's got a way better defense, but if Texas plays like they did versus Kansas last week, they'll beat Baylor. It's like a score of 27-10. It's not going to be pretty, but it's going to be effective.
I think you're right. I really like what I saw of the Texas defense lately, and if they can bring that same level of intensity and force the errors and get the turnovers and penetrate the offensive line and pressure the quarterback, yes, they will win that game.
Yep. And then Hunter, I think he likes Texas in that game as well. We have Nebraska and Iowa. I know Nebraska hasn't had a great season, but they got one more shot. Kinnick Stadium's not an easy place to play in Iowa, so I'm sure it's going to be cold. But Nebraska practices in the cold too, or they play in the cold. They all probably practice in domes or bubbles, but I look to Iowa to dominate this game. They have an outside chance of playing in the Big Ten championship game, but I think Nebraska gives them a scare in the first half. So then
I think Nebraska fights a little bit.
We have UCLA at California. I think UCLA probably wins this by a little bit. California got a nice win last week versus Stanford, but we'll see what happens. We have a game that is always one of my more favorite games to watch, and it being tomorrow or Friday night at 6:30, which will make it even better. You have Florida at Florida State. I love when the fans at Florida State do the chop. It's one of the most iconic things in college football. I look forward to it more than the game itself. I just hope the game's competitive so the fans are involved. That's my hope on that one.
Well, I think it'll be a game where Florida State, the fans will be pretty rabid because I think Florida State's going to take the lead. They're not going to give it up, and they're going to crush. I don't necessarily know crush Florida, but they're going to beat Florida. I think the Noles will be tomahawk chopping their way to a Florida State championship this year.
Yeah. Anytime you want to jump in, Lindsay, just interrupt me. So I'm just gonna rifle through these games. You don't want to talk about it? Great. If you do, then hit me with it. Here's a game. I think this is going to be a very close game. I know Hunter thinks I'm drinking again or something, but we have Georgia Tech at Georgia, 11 a.m. on Saturday morning. I think Georgia Tech's going to play pretty well in this game. They're trying to get to a bowl game. They want to get to a bowl game. Their interim coach, really wants them to get to a bowl game. He's a Georgia Tech alumni. You can go dig into the story a little bit more, but they want to get there. I think the game's going to be closer than not because I think Georgia's trying to manage this. How hard do we play before we play our conference championship game? So you don't want to go and just have to go and beat yourself to death against Georgia Tech before you go play LSU in your conference championship game. So I look for this to be a competitive game. I know Hunter thinks I bumped my head.
I don't know how they do it. Georgia Tech. It's just Georgia Tech has gotten some gritty wins against some good teams, but I think this year has just said to us that basically, the four best teams in the country, Georgia's the best team in the country until proven otherwise at this point.
I didn't say they're going to win. I just said it was going to be close.
I just don't know because this is different, right? Georgia had their off game against Kentucky, right? They laid off. Now here's where they got to ramp it up and all right, we got to get the juices flowing again, so we're ready to go for LSU. And this is also a rivalry game. This is big to Georgia fans, right? They still remember 2014. They still remember Georgia Tech beating them in Sanford Stadium. Georgia remembers that, and they hate that. They hate that Georgia Tech beat them this century. So they want to go and prove. They want to go and put them back down. And what better way to crush your rival and make sure they don't make a bowl game? Yep. While also beating them by an oodle of points. I just don't think that Georgia Tech has anything for Georgia. Whatever the spread is, Georgia covers. This is a beatdown in every way till Sunday. No Jeff Sims. You can love your coach as much as you want. That don't mean that Georgia's not going to absolutely blow the doors off your team.
All right. Next, we got South Carolina traveling in-state to Clemson for the Battle of South Carolina. South Carolina got a nice win last week. I think Clemson finds a way to win this game. I don't really see South Carolina pulling upset, but it wouldn't surprise me if they did because we've been having this endless battle of good DJU versus bad DJU. If by some miracle South Carolina gets up on Clemson with a big lead. I don't know that DJU can bring you from a 2 or 3 score deficit to win the game. That's just my thoughts on that one.
I feel the same way.
Interrupt me anytime, Lindsay.
No, go ahead. You're on a roll. You're doing well. Keep going.
I'm looking for you to interrupt me at some
Oh,
point.
Need some content.
I'm kind of digging here, you know.
oh,
What I mean?
well, say no more.
Interject yourself, please.
Now that I know it's a request.
I kind of wasn't asking. I was telling you to.
Yeah.
We have a slew of MAC games. I'm not really interested in. Lindsay, what are your thoughts on this Louisville at Kentucky? Do you think Louisville goes in there and smacks Kentucky around?
I think that would be pretty cool if they did. I don't know how much confidence I have in their ability to really live a smackdown on them. But you know, if any week was a week to do that, this one is. I like what they're doing, and you know they have a better record. I think that they've been doing pretty well for themselves. I wouldn't be surprised if Louisville pulled this one off. In fact, I kind of like to see that. And Kentucky having an hour defeat against Georgia, they're certainly playing pretty well, but they even though Kentucky comes in as a favorite, I think that you gotta let Louisville, you got to give Louisville their due here, and I do believe it's going to be a close game. I don't know that Louisville would win though. I kind of like Kentucky overall in this one. So I think it's going to be a close game, but I would think Kentucky's going to win. I don't think it's going to be high scoring. I'm going to say 21-17.
All right. We'll see. I'm going to scroll the doldrums here. See. Try to pick the game. The game I want to see here. We have Auburn and Alabama. I think Alabama wins by enough. 7-14, something like that. Oregon and Oregon State. I don't think Oregon survives this trip to Corvallis. I think they get beat handily by Oregon State.
That's surprising. I know it. 100 was you saying something similar. You picked Oregon State.
I just don't like the fact that Oregon can't stop the run. I mean, it's an indictment on their defense. So,
this is very interesting to me. I would have a hard time just wholesale giving this one to Oregon State. I think that there's just a higher level of talent and skill and overall ability that Oregon has over Oregon State. So, I mean, I would look to Oregon State to win this one. But again, I don't think it's going to be a real blowout. But I'd be really surprised if Oregon State. That'd be a cool upset if they did, because like I said when I opened up, talking about the games this week, there's going to be very few exciting games. I would love this to be one of them. I like Oregon, but I would like it to be a good close game. I don't know though. My feelings on this are kind of mixed, but ultimately I think Oregon will beat Oregon State. Probably, I would say a score like 28-21 or something like that.
Here's the game that absolutely deserves to be on TV, and right now is not listed as having a TV appearance, and that's UTEP traveling to San Antonio to take on UTSA. UTSA is a pretty decent team, and UTEP has played well this year. So the fact that game's not on television, that's kind of a disappointment. So talk to your local cable provider and voice your concerns.
You want your MTV?
Well, I stopped watching MTV when they stopped playing music, so I haven't seen MTV in a minute. We got Michigan State at Penn State. I don't know. I don't like Penn State, and not for any particular reason. I like James Franklin as a coach. I just think the team is just kind of Michigan State's way underperformed this year. Penn State's going to win this game, but it's not going to be by a whole lot. It's going to be one of those 6-3 games. It'll be, a couple field goals, by one team and one field goal by the other. Utah gets a bye week this week, pounding Colorado. They will beat Colorado by the state of California.
That makes sense. And regarding the Michigan State Penn State game, with the new legal developments now against Michigan State, that's going to be a huge distraction. And
Well, I mean, they played well the week after they kicked all those guys off the team. So who knows? But
you don't know what's going on in the locker room. Maybe those guys, maybe no one liked those guys. Maybe they're happy to see him go.
They could have been the proverbial locker room cancer.
We
got number 5 LSU traveling to College Station by Texas A&M. I think LSU probably blows Texas A&M out.
I would agree with you on that one for sure.
And I think there's a lot more to this. I know Brian Kelly's a first-year coach there, but I'm sure there's players there that remember in 2018, Texas A&M beat LSU and they made championship rings for it, right? And they beat them like 77-75. So it was like in like 27 overtimes. It was like the most ridiculous score. They made cups and championship rings. And then the next year, LSU came out and they put 50 points on them in the first half. And Joe Burrow, walked out of his final senior game at LSU wearing the Burrow spelled in, like the Cajun form on the back of his jersey. And they just went and throttled Texas A&M. And ever since then, it's been kind of close. I think LSU comes out and they deliver another throttling again. I think Brian Kelly's going to make his statement victory on his way to the SEC championship game. I think UCF and South Florida is a game that I don't want to watch. I'm not a fan of UCF right now. They got beat by Navy, and Navy, took care of business versus UCF. South Florida is not a good team. This is not going to be a good football game. They're playing this at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, and I was almost be willing to bet that it's 6 p.m. There's going to be rain at some point during this game, and it's going to be just a brutal game to watch, just miserable to watch. Let's look. I'm looking at Tampa right now.
All right. Well, while you look for the weather there, I got to hop on out.
All right, bud. Well, it's good seeing you. We'll talk to you when you get to the house tonight.
Yep. I guess I'll do what I always do.
Yep.
Eat up cats, hook 'em horns, and then go Navy, beat Army.
There you go. now you're part of them, so there you go. All right, bud.
Not quite yet.
Well, pretty close. Thanks for joining. We'll talk to you later, bud. Okay?
Sir.
All right,
Have a good night.
And then there was just us. All right. There's no, it don't look like there's any weather. I'm sure there'll be a pop-up shower. It's Florida. I think it rains every day in Florida. So.
Oh, it absolutely does right around 5 o'clock.
Yeah. Shocker. It'll be a sloppy game. We got Notre Dame and USC. I hope Jude's not watching. I know he put Caleb Williams in the chat just a few minutes ago. Lindsay, I think Notre Dame's going to beat USC.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I think they're going to beat them by more than 2 scores.
Okay, so not even a close one then.
Mm-hmm. No, but I'm a resident Golden Domer too. I have 2 college football teams. I grew up in Austin, but I grew up a Notre Dame fan. So,
it's not out of the realm of possibilities. If there's a few things that if Notre Dame does them, they will win that game.
It's the best. I think it's the best defense that USC is going to have seen all year.
Yeah,
Notre Dame plays Big Ten style defense, and they like to run the ball and get physical. Marcus Freeman's really got this team under his thumb, and he knows what he's doing now. Or Marcus Freeman. I'm sorry, I think I said Marcus Freeman. Marcus Freeman's got his thumbprint on this team. They're gonna play excellent defense and run the ball, and I think USC's really going to struggle with that.
Yeah,
I don't think Caleb Williams is going to get enough touches to have except. And I want Caleb Williams to be successful. I want him to be the front runner for the Heisman.
Yeah,
I just don't see it. Just everything I'm looking at on this game, I just think Notre Dame's better than USC yet. It just is what it is. So.
Yeah, and it's not like Notre Dame doesn't realize that. They know exactly what they have to force USC into doing, and as long as they can do that, the game is theirs. It remains to be seen if they can execute it that well.
And I almost feel like Notre Dame plays better on the road sometimes because they're. I hate saying this. They're like a global brand, It's like their home is everywhere. Like their haters hate them no matter where they are, and their fans love them no matter where they are. So I just feel like they're that global brand. You have Tennessee and Vanderbilt. I don't know. I really don't want to pick this game. I don't think Vanderbilt's good enough to beat Tennessee, but I think Tennessee's had enough distractions this week they could be beat. And you can take a very excellent season.
I agree they're vulnerable, but I still think that in a weakened state, they're still not bad enough that they would lose this game. I still see Tennessee winning.
I agree with you on that. I just, man, it's one of those things where there's enough going on. There's a scenario out there where you could see them lose this game.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Like it's not like this Army UMass game. I don't see a scenario where UMass is pulling the dub here. I'm not saying that the Minutemen can't,
unless the Army's bus breaks down and they don't make it to the stadium. I don't know.
I mean, unless they have to play with people out of the stands, I don't know. So we hop over to the Big 12. We got Oklahoma in Lubbock to take on Texas Tech. I don't know what to think here. Oklahoma hasn't impressed me, except for last week. They come out and just shell Oklahoma State, but it seems like for every one good game they have one bad game that they shouldn't have.
Yeah, I mean that's one in a row for them. So yeah, I like Tech in that game. I think that they'll pull that one out.
And then we have Syracuse traveling to Massachusetts to take on Boston College. I don't know. Boston College has anything left in the tank this year. I think they ran out of gas about 2 weeks ago. So
yeah, I think you're right. They think they blew it all that they had then, and they came out with a win that no one expected. But that's probably the last unexpected thing they'll do.
Yeah. And we have Tulsa traveling to Houston to take on the Cougars. This is going to be on ESPNU at 6:30 p.m. on Saturday. Tulsa's not a good football team, but if it is, U of H isn't very good either. But I think U of H is going to put on a scoring clinic. You look for Clayton Tune to have a big game. Clayton Tune's playing for a opportunity to play in the NFL. He's a great quarterback. He can run. He can throw. He's just plays for U of H. So look for Clayton Tune to have a big game. Here's a game that, if you're in Austin, this game probably means something to you as long as you beat Baylor. Kansas at Kansas State. Kansas State's 12. Kansas is unranked. Lance Leipold just got a nice extension by the university, second one of the season. They're really angling to keep him there in Lawrence. They really got beat pretty bad last week by Texas.
Mm-hmm.
I hate using the law of transitive properties, but, Kansas does a lot of stuff just like Texas does. I could see another game. I think Kansas is going to have to go back to using Jason Bean at quarterback over Jalen Daniels. Jalen Daniels' shoulder doesn't look like it's strong enough yet to throw the ball. I know he's a great athlete, great quarterback, but he struggled last week. I think it was a big portion of Kansas losing that game. I think had they played Jason Bean a little bit more, the game would have been a little closer, or maybe not. Maybe it was been a bigger disparity. But anyways, Texas fans need Kansas to step up big and beat K-State. I don't think it's going to happen. I think K-State's going to beat Kansas. They're going to face TCU in the Big 12 championship game where TCU beats them by 55-21. I think it'll be another one of those games. I think Kansas State has a hard time playing in Big 12 championship games. They've proven it year in and year out. They always seem to find a way to lose one. Win when they shouldn't and lose one when they should, or when they shouldn't. So we have Pittsburgh traveling to Miami to take on the U. And it'll be a nice trip for Pittsburgh. They'll get some sun. They'll get some warm weather. They'll beat the U by 30 points, and they'll go home in Pittsburgh and shiver the rest of the winter away until their bowl game pops up. So then we have one of the most interesting games in college football names, I guess, rivalry names. We have the Apple Cup between number 13 Washington and Washington State. This is a 9:30 kick on ESPN. We may watch some of this game if we can. It'll be up to Lindsay. He controls what we watch, so I'll leave that in his hands. I could see where Washington State could win this game. I don't think they're going to, but I could see where they could. With that said, Washington's really come on of late. They've really been they've been a late kick. That runner, and when you're watching the Olympics, the runner, he's really coming from behind. He's got that late kick. That's what Washington's doing right now. They got that late kick. And then we got old lowly BYU. What the season could have been, huh? I mean, it looks so promising at the beginning of the year. Now, I don't even know they're going to make a bowl game.
No, kind of fizzle it out for them, unfortunately.
Yeah, they're just it's just a bad day to be a Cougar.
Yeah.
Let's see how many wins they're at. They're going to play in a bowl game, but it's going to be like the toilet bowl. They've got 6 wins on the season. They got 5 losses. Jaron Hall's had some nice games of late, but they just haven't been very good. They're going to play Stanford at Stanford. I don't think they get this win. I think Stanford beats them. BYU goes and plays the bowl game, finishes 7-6 on the season, but they're going to go 6-6 this week. They're going to lose to Stanford. And then, unfortunately, we don't get this game. Virginia has gone ahead and decided that they're going to be done for the rest of the regular season, and they've canceled their game with Virginia Tech. You can understand it's a big loss for their community, their program, their family. You know, I can't explain to you, like, you know, any better way than that. I don't have a problem with Virginia doing this. They have to do what they have to do to take care of business there. The business of football is coming second place to the business of life, and that's 100% fine. And, you know, like, once again, you know, we're in the holiday season now officially, I believe. So we're still going to send out a prayer to the Virginia family, the Virginia football team, the coaches, the family, the players, the staff, everybody involved with the team, everybody in the community. It's a tragic event that happened, senseless, and we wish, you know, we could, you know, if there's anything we could do, you know, I pray that, you know, they can have some, I don't know, just some, you know, comfort in their time of grief. That's all. I don't know what else to say, but
I'm sure it's no consolation, but, you know, Virginia Tech went through a similar tragedy years ago.
Yeah.
So if any school, I'm sure most or not, maybe all the people who were there at the time, Virginia Tech, except maybe some of the faculty and staff, have since moved on. But you're certainly not going to forget that. You're always going to have that connection to the school. And now these two schools, unfortunately, are bound forever in a similar tragedy, and that's really a shame of you know, unimaginable proportions.
Yeah. I mean, we know about it around here too. I mean, like, the tower shootings in the 60s, you know, that directly affected my family. You know, my mom worked at the university, and she was working that day, or she worked at the hospital. She was working that day whenever they were bringing them in. So, growing up as an Austinite, you know, I am well aware of what can happen. So, like I said, our thoughts and prayers go out to those folks out there. That's all we can offer, you know, during this holiday season. You know, when you go celebrate with your family, make sure you give them an extra hug. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
You know, because you never know when you never know when you don't get that opportunity. So, I know it's a little somber. Let's move on to some other fun stuff. We got the giveaway coming up. We got our special guest during our giveaway. I don't know that our Heisman Trophy winner is going to be able to join us. We're on a wait and see approach. If we get it, what my hope for is we get it during Army Navy game, which Lindsay and I will be watching, and Hunter, and we'll be enjoying. And so, if you want to join us for that, next week's broadcast is going to be pre-recorded on Wednesday. And then Saturday, we'll have our regular show. It'll be our last full-length show, because then once we hit championship week and bowl games and Army, Navy and giveaway and the holiday season, we all get a little bit busy. And I know an hour and a half is a big commitment for the guys. So this is our regular live Wednesday finale. So it's been fun, Jude. Great season. 13 weeks went by too fast.
Very fast.
So it was
That's
good.
a sign you're getting older, isn't it?
What's that?
That's a sign you're getting older, isn't it?
I'll tell you, just since this is our regular Wednesday finale, or live Wednesday finale, I should say that, we'll have a couple more Wednesday broadcasts, but they'll be pre-recorded. I want to thank Joey for coming on. I want to thank Jude, Hunter, Christian, especially you, Lizzie. Everybody was like, everybody I talked to that I asked was 100% on board with joining the podcast. So without you guys, we couldn't have made this show so much fun this year. So that said, I'd like to thank all y'all. So,
well, thank you for having us. It's a lot of fun, and it's a good way to focus your enthusiasm for sports and your energies, in a different way than you do during the week. Because, we all get wrapped up in work and family life and everything else that we got. It's nice to be able to take a break from that and talk sports and have a little recreational time.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, just we're rolling up that time of the year. We'll have a couple of bowl game shows, and we're definitely going to do a show around the national championship time. And, we'll try to throw in some recruiting along the way, but this is for the season. This is it on Wednesdays. This is our last live Wednesday show. So we'd like to thank everybody watching this, and stay in touch. Stay tuned. We're still going to have content coming out, and I look forward to doing it again next year. I know I've talked to Lindsay. I think he's on board for next year.
Yep.
Hunter, we'll see where he's at in life, and we'll try to get him on. And Jude's definitely down, you know that, and maybe we can sneak Joey back on the program at some point. You know, he's stressing us out. So I'm going to kick it over to Lindsay, let him send it out, and then I'll close up with you guys. So go ahead, Lindsay. And
everybody in the chat, thank you. If you're watching this after the live broadcast went out, we thank you for your viewership and all the likes and subscriptions. And we can't wait to see how we can wrap the year up. The giveaway will be a lot of fun. We're always dying to see who wins the Heisman Trophy and how we're going to wrap up the whole year. So thank you, everyone, for your participation. I want to thank my fellow panelists who have always made the conversation interesting. It's been a great learning opportunity for all of us. We learn from each other, and we learn from you in the chat, and love the comments that we get and the questions, and it's been a lot of fun. So thanks to Cass for spearheading the whole thing and putting it all together.
hey, plug your channel real quick in your giveaway.
Oh, sure. My channel is Coil Tools on YouTube, and we're having a giveaway for a vintage Snap-on toolbox that's been fully restored. We're doing it as a fundraiser for the wife of a former customer of mine who has passed away. So for a donation of $200, you will get a ticket to enter the drawing and potentially win. The drawing will be Friday, December 9th at 9:30 p.m. Central Time. Cutoff date for ticket sales is Thursday, December 8th. You can go on my website, coiltools.com/fundraiser, to see all the details and the rules and eligibility conditions. And there's even a donate button there that you can click on, and then you'll receive your raffle ticket in email.
Well, that sounds sweet. I'd like to thank everybody. It's been a great season. We're still not done yet. We have more, but this is it for Wednesdays, live at least. I want to thank Power Stroke Jude for being in the chat. I'd like to thank the 69 XXX.life. Maybe we'll check you out. Maybe we won't. I don't know. Raging Cajun Garage, we appreciate you joining us, and Anthony GM85, and everybody else has joined the show throughout the year. I'd like to thank all of y'all. Remember, the team that scores the most points always wins the game. Thanks for watching.